Hope you're all doing well. So, it's probably not going to be the longest stream. I'm just going to cover a couple of things. Try to get back in the algorithm. That's such a joke. But, anyways, yeah, a couple of things to cover anyway. I like to keep up with this stuff. This isn't nothing new. We've been talking about this for years. It's playing out exactly like we said it would. So I'm not the least bit shocked that we're facing lockdowns and things like that in the future. I said this is exactly how it would play out. The first, even before any of it, right at the very beginning, because it's perfect and the way these people operate, they use the same type of playbook. They do so for a very good reason, because it works on the masses. It's very effective. So one of those things are, it's like the tide, right? The push and pull, and you increase the amount of time in between those. And for instance, like the first wave to the second wave wasn't long at all, right? Very limited time, if you even want to call it that, because most people just still consider that the first wave. But they did give us a little bit of time. They gave us a summer the very first time. And I remember creating a video even before it happened saying at least they gave us summer. That was the name. And then I created at least they gave us summer too. All of these happened before it happened. And I'm not doing it to be like, look, I told you so. I'm doing it because it's a clear-cut pattern that they use. Each time, the amount of time in the middle grows. It allows people to have the idea that things are getting back to normal, only to be slammed with a fear campaign again. And it plays games with the psyche, especially people that trust in the government, trust in the media, that think that these entities are still on their side for the most part, that are just trying to bring them information. No, they are propagating you. They're doing whatever they can to indoctrinate you to the agendas that they are pushing, which always support this globalist agenda, this new world order, which was a conspiracy theory once, but they admitted on their own. Anyways. Let me turn the chat on. Thanks, you guys, for being here. I appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up if you can, unless you hate this channel. But if you hate the channel, what are you doing here? What's up, Kutz, Indigo, Jen? Good to see you guys. I appreciate it. Glad you could join. Study finds gradual increase in COVID infection risk after second vaccine dose. Now, this similar information is on the CDC's website, where 75%, 3 out of 4 people that are experiencing reinfection or infection or having really bad side effects, I don't know what you'd call it, that are just having problems with COVID, are the vaccinated. Now, that's not me saying this. There's actual science, as they say, to support this. There's studies that have been done. But yet, regardless of all of that, we are still doing the exact same thing. And I would like to ask, since how they got this new round of boosters for this new variant, Pirola, by the way. I did look into Pirola, and I'll show you what I came up with. You have all of these studies, and people right now should be like, you guys lied to us. Right? You didn't even test for transmission, which is one of, if not the reason to get vaccinated. They were telling us we were killing our grandmas, that we were selfish if we didn't get vaccinated because we were going to be the super spreaders. But they don't know that because they never tested for transmission. If you got vaccinated, would you? And of course they didn't, because that's not, in my opinion, what it was all about to begin with. What's up, We Free? Good to see you, brother. Hey, Bob. Glad you could join again. Yeah, I seen that. I didn't get your. A lot of comments get deleted over here. This is literally, and I don't say this lightly, this is like one of the most shadow banned channels on YouTube. And I understand why. There's I'm probably the last schmuck, the last dumbass that's still over here trying to make it work. But I have a reason for that. It's not like I'm just doing it for, shits and giggles. I have somewhat of a plan. Whether it works out or not, who knows? But I'm in it for the long haul. Not here on that YouTube necessarily, but anything that's of importance, anything that they don't want you knowing, the comments especially, they're gone quick. Yeah, it just happens. So I do have an email. I have a bunch of emails, and um, one that I check often. I check them all, but you can Son of Perdition Media would probably be your best bet. But this isn't a surprise. Study finds gradual increase in COVID infection after your second vaccine dose. And guys, keep in mind all those videos that I got strikes for and all the videos that got taken down about the nanotechnologies, about Robert Langer's technologies, about the teacup, right? About these nanotechnologies that once activated remotely through microwave technology or electromagnetic frequencies, exposed. They essentially break open. They melt the lipid nanofat layer and expose the contents. Now that could be done at any time. To say that's what's being done here is only speculation, but the possibility exists considering that the co-founder of Moderna is Robert Langer. And Moderna was the one that came out with this technology before anybody else. That's why Moderna was suing Pfizer. That's why, it's Charles Lieber. Like, we covered this in depth in the very beginning. And I thought it was important to lay that groundwork right at the very beginning. That way, when we move forward, at least, that will all be a pretty solid foundation to build off of. And it's looking like we were on track the entire time. Just being honest. Like, everything is kind of playing out exactly like you would expect, if that were to be true. Graveyard shift. Results confirm that protection wanes with time and suggest a third booster dose might be warranted. Yeah? Or would you just have a higher increase? They're going to continue telling us we need more and more boosters. Do you want to continue the rest of your life with the government telling you you need this concoction of nanotechnology and whatever type of medical breakthrough that they come up with inside of your body, especially on an experimental phase, right? Lab rats. We're getting lab rats. And we're just going to continue to allow these new ones. The first ones didn't work, and now, there's these side effects. There's myocarditis. There's blood clots. But no, this next batch is going to be safe. It wasn't that we didn't screw up. We just, how do you explain it? How do you explain it? Other than the things that would get my channel a strike right now. If you think that these people are here to protect you, that they have your best interest in mind, look around. Look at everything that's happening. Look at Maui. Look at Burning Man. Look at Florida, where they put diesel in everybody's vehicles. Oh, no, it's just regular. Come on. All over and over and over again, we're subjected to this type of BS. And we're supposed to just believe that these are all coincidences and there's nothing nefarious ever behind any of this. And they need that to be so, because if people started actually waking up to that fact, they would be like, wait a minute, no. Enough's enough. We've had enough. And this is where it all ends. We are taking control back of this government that is ours. And we are not going to allow you to dictate, mandate, or tell us what is and what isn't going to be our future, our decisions, our choices, are ours. Being not up to date on COVID-19 vaccination is linked to lower risk of infection. You don't say. The United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention updated their guidance on coronavirus disease 2019 vaccination in April of 2023. All individuals above the age of 6 who had received at least one dose of COVID-19 bivalent vaccine were considered to be up to date with COVID-19 vaccinations. Conversely, individuals were considered to be not up to date if they had not received a single dose. So who got sick more? Who was infected more? The vaccinated. Recent research has not been able to document the efficacy of the bivalent vaccine, while the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 XBB variants were the dominant circulating strains. Given that these viral variants remain the dominant circulating strains, it is reasonable to ask whether up-to-date individuals with the vaccine of inconclusive effectiveness are protected against COVID-19 compared to their not up-to-date counterparts. And they're not. No need to go through the whole study. You can if you want. It's right here on News Medical Life Sciences. Type in being not up to date. I'm sure it'll be the first thing that pops up. And there's tons of this. Italy had their own. What was it? Venezuela? I can't remember now. It was one of the South American countries. There's tons of them now. And they all say the same thing. The ones that aren't completely on board with Big Pharma and pushing the agenda, that are asking questions. And of course, there's factions of each in every country. Ones that are complete tyrants and follow orders that are being given to them no matter how tyrannical they are. And then there's people that are aware that, yeah, this isn't right. And we're not just going to be yes men for the powers that shouldn't be. And do real science, real tests. Let the evidence take you where the evidence takes you without a predetermined conclusion. It's coming again, guys. No doubt about it in my book. They're going to try all that same bullshit, and I think they're going to try it even harder. That was my prediction from very early on, that each passing phase, every time that they did it, it would be more and more tyrannical. Because they need to do it that way, right? They need to get us used to the top-down approach where Big Brother, big government, tells you heavy-handedly what is and what isn't, and what you should do and what you shouldn't. And if you disobey, they will make an example out of you. And we've seen a lot of that during the last one. Like just absolute things that most of us would have never thought in our entire lifetimes we would ever see. Yeah, I do have a backup We Free. You won't find it though. I'll try. I can't post. For some reason, they want me to send my ID in order for me to be able to post. Even my new channel, they don't tell me to do that. But because this one is called Perdition Media, again, like I've had Son of Perdition and Perdition Media every time. And now they're like, no, we need to see some ID before you're allowed to post. Because, you know, the little community posts, I used to use those quite a bit. It's a good way to get information out quickly without making a video. I can't do that now unless I send my ID to them. I'm not going to do that. Not that they don't know who I am, but I'm not going to participate in that. And my new channel is called Scratching the Surface, and it's got this little cute praying mantis. It's hard to find. And you're not going to find it. You'd probably have to scroll for like 4 hours before you found it. But I'll try to leave a link in a description. Yeah, it'll either be in the top comment or the description. I'll go back and change it after this. Oh, did you? Yeah, that's me. I know it doesn't look like my normal style, and that's the whole point behind it, right? Um, we got to kind of play by the rules here, and I'm still trying to figure things out and how to get this thing rolling. And it'd probably be another couple of weeks before I do, but we'll ease into it. There's a lot of people that are just waking up now, right? I mean, unfortunately, it's way too late, but we need to mitigate what we can. And those people aren't going. They don't. A lot of people like forget what it was like when they first woke up and like seen things like, wait a minute, this like you don't know about the Rothschild central banking system. You don't know how the fiat currency is really set up. You think that the government's there to protect you, even when that's shattered, you still don't know to the degree in which it is the complete opposite of everything that you have ever believed. So it's important to go way back to the beginning and show these cute little cartoons and kind of ease people into it, I think. I don't know. If anybody's got any better ideas, I'm open ears, always. This is coming back full force, and they're going to use it to strip more and more freedoms from us. It's emergencies, all the emergency proclamations and the NDAA 2012 and any Emergency Authorization Act. They got a lot of stuff out there that anytime they say, and keep in mind right now, we are technically, Biden said we're no longer in an emergency, right, as far as COVID is concerned anyway, even though there's plenty of other emergencies that we're still a part of. COVID currently isn't one of them, but it will be. It will be. And I don't doubt that they would actually do something nefarious. I mean, depopulation is, in fact, the main focus for them. They'll wrap it up and everything else, but in order to achieve their 17 goals of sustainability, you need to reduce the population by like 90% at the very least for them. It's what they think. All the people that are like the movers and shakers in that world, that's their logic. And they've said it enough times where we should be paying attention to it, right? And the same people that are talking about depopulating the world are the same people that are offering us all these wonderful medical technologies that they want inside of us so bad. Should we do it? Well, that's on you. YouTube search surfaces good information. I went over this yesterday, but I didn't read the article, and I might skip over it again. It says a lot, so maybe I will. YouTube search surfaces good information about the causes of the Lahaina fire, but external links reveal a different world. Meaning that YouTube's doing a good job keeping off misinformation about the Lahaina fire, which is what? What are people putting out there that's not true? You mean inconvenient facts that you're scrubbing all over the place too, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, which I understand is China, but this is a global governing system that they're using. The people at the very top, the borders mean nothing to them. They're hell-bent on creating this world, this new government. So whoever's at the top of that, and I'm pretty damn sure you could guess who that would be, control everything. Control the food, control where you live, your transportation, everything. And any attempt to get information out there is just squashed immediately. The wildfires in Lahaina were still raging as the first questions about whether they might have been deliberately set emerged online. Though all current evidence points to an accidental start, no, it doesn't. According to you, it does. According to the mainstream media, everything's always fucking rainbows. They're always innocent. Never would they ever do anything, even though constantly we are bombarded with evidence that shows the exact opposite. But they'll write it up as, these people, even though you could like videos. I've literally seen them try to like excuse actual proof, videotape of stuff, and saying that's a how. All it is a video. It's showing what's happened. It wasn't altered. It wasn't digitally rendered in any way. But no, that don't look at that. That's a conspiracy theory. No, that's evidence. And if you were doing your jobs, you would take that and piece it into with all the other evidence and start formulating some type of story that gives you a lead where you can start interviewing people and holding people accountable. But since you're paid off by those same corrupt entities, we would never suspect to actually receive real information. And they're doing away with it the best that they can. They're doing away with our ability to share the information, to speak freely. We're all those so dangerous conspiracy theorists. Because, I mean, let's think about that for a second, right? Why was that term even invented? Well, they wanted people to look crazy for saying that JFK might have been assassinated. When all, even back, I mean, clearly the story that they gave was BS and people were asking questions. But if you were asking questions, the CIA came up with this lovely new term, conspiracy theorist. And since then, they have been using it to slap on anything that is inconvenient. Any truth that they'd rather just sweep under the rug and make the person look crazy, as opposed to the crazy scenario that is occurring. On the platform formerly known as Twitter, where much of the discourse centered on the idea that the government had used a direct energy weapon to start the fire, discourse participants engaged in conspiracy theory construction, poring over videos, photos, maps, and planning documents, constructing a grand, interconnected argument from dozens of pieces of evidence. Well, yeah, that's what they did. That's what the media should be doing. But no, you have to leave it to the fucking armchair detectives to do any of this stuff because nobody else is going to do it anymore. It's all been bought, paid for. It's corrupted at its core. And we need to dismantle all of it, peacefully, of course. You need to boycott what you can. Anything that you see that's supporting this type of stuff. You need to hold your officials accountable. Like Maui right now, that Green, the Mayor Green, I don't know how that guy can even show his face in public. Maybe, I'd hate to say it, but we need to increase the pressure that we put on these people. And again, in a non-violent manner. Violence will always be used against us. That's why we can never be violent, only in self-defense. But there's ways to put pressure on people legally. And the more pressure we can put on these psychopaths, the better. We need to, shit's got to change. There is no coming back from the amount of damage that has already been done to this entire world. Like, we will have to go through some very dark times. They've gone way too far. People have been asleep for way too long. And many of them still are. They fall right back into the trap, right? The left-right divide. They think like, oh yeah, no, I'm Republican now. It's all good. Like, I'm awake. Nope. No, you're not. Just because Republicans currently stand more for freedom than the left does not mean that you're awake. Voting for Trump thinking that he's going to save the country because all the media sits there and talks trash about him like it wasn't designed to be that way. They know what they're doing, guys. And maybe the inkers don't. Maybe the people that are sitting at the just reading off the teleprompter, maybe they don't. But the people that wrote those lines, the people that said this is what you better say, they do. That's why those videos exist where there's like 40 different outlets from different networks all saying the exact same, oh, this is dangerous for our democracy. Right? Or the Easter Bunny has a little bit of extra hop in his step this year. Like all that. It's all, there's tons of these videos out there. Now, maybe or maybe not, the anchors knew. More than likely, I would say they probably didn't. They were probably just reading. They were doing their job. They show up to work and they read what they're supposed to read. But we got to start figuring out ways. We know who they are. We know a lot of them, the people that are at the tops of these. Not the very tops. They'll never show themselves. You only get to them by getting to the top echelon, the people that are pulling the strings of these puppet politicians and all these Hollywood actors and actresses that have long sold their souls, all for a buck. And we need to let them know we got their number. And I personally, I won't stop. I'm going to continue pushing on. And yeah, they can limit me at like 77, 78 subscribers for now. It's not going to stay that way. They will not keep me suppressed forever. I will break through one way or the other. It's going to happen. I'm sure it probably won't be on this platform, but this is what I'm currently using. And I know there's enough people seeing it, even though the numbers don't say so. Editing nature, the future of nanotechnology and gene editing. This is another thing that's a massive thing that we're going to have to deal with. And of course it is. I don't want the app. And we're already seeing, without saying too much on this platform, we've already seen a huge step in this direction when it comes to editing genes and doing stuff. I was talking about this yesterday. They can use things like viruses for this, but I don't know, if you had some type of concoction that you could just straight inject into somebody, I guess that would be your best bet as far as genetic alterations that you wanted to do on the masses that would enable, I don't know, direct connection to things like the internet. All this is being done. If you look at the cutting edge of where the money is going, always follow the money, of course, right? With like the Bill and Melinda Gates and like NanoSys and NanoWorks and the biomed technologies on the forefront, all of it. They're all like basically covering the same type of stuff. All those separate, very diverse biolabs and nanolabs, all these different science applications, these different genres, I guess, due to a lack of a better word, they're all coming together. It's like almost a conglomeration of these different fields, these specializations. And it's like they're starting to mingle with each other, and it's starting to become one super field that involves all of it. Like neurotechnology, nanotechnology, biotechnology, artificial intelligence. And all that's going to be utilized by the people that have the power. And who has the power? Not us. Certainly not us right now. Even though we should, especially in this nation, we are the people. The people are the government. We are the ones that say what is and what isn't. Now, that's obviously a pipe dream at this point. It's an illusion. But at one point, that was real. And we need to get that back. Now, they try to make people out to say the things that I'm saying right now out to look like domestic extremists, right? Yeah, you believe in the Constitution. Maybe you're patriotic. Maybe you're a nationalist. God forbid you're a Christian. Because all those things are continually being elevated on the list of like the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice, and many, many others. And the reason for that is because those tend to be the people that take sovereignty seriously, that actually hold freedom in their hearts and will die for it. As myself. Young people tell us they need help identifying misinformation. Well, don't worry. Big Brother will gladly help. Now, this is a little bit older. This is August 16th, 2023. But I didn't get a chance to cover this one yet. And it ties in well with this other one that I just seen. Apparently, I don't have it up all of a sudden, but I did. But it was basically saying the same thing about how young people are more susceptible to misinformation than anybody else. And then it's immediately followed by Scientific American that says young people tell us they need help identifying. Do they? What young people? Did you go to like a science fair somewhere and talk to like one person and said, "Oh, I thought this was real. You know, I seen this and it seemed pretty good." And they're like, "No, that wasn't real." And they're like, "Well, I guess if you're telling me it's not, I might need help then." Like, or they're just lying, because I can't believe that. I mean, I guess I could because they're highly indoctrinated, but it sounds like propaganda to me, right? Young people tell us they need it. What are they really saying? We are going to do more to make sure that young people can identify misinformation. How are they going to do that? Well, use your imagination. Because anything you can come up with, I'm sure they already have, and they're already working on it, plus many, many more. We surveyed Canadian youth about science when it comes to making informed decisions. Their responses tell us that we need to work harder to propagate our indoctrination. Harder to help youth everywhere recognize misinformation. And you know why? What really probably happened? Probably the youth, especially in Canada, and especially having parents. That's why they want to like do away with the family unit so bad. They know what's going on because their parents. They overhear their parents. I remember being a kid listening closely to what my parents were talking about and doing my best to understand this world that I was living in, even though I had very limited understanding. But they know enough to put enough pieces together and be like, yeah, well, it just looks like the government doesn't have our best interests at heart. No, that's misinformation. We love you. We love you. We're going to do everything we can to make sure you have whatever it is that you need. Big Brother's here for you. It's fucking pathetic, man. I used to have respect for Scientific American. At one point, they were actually a reasonable publication. Like I've always been, I've always been awake. I've always been awake. There was not, a lot of people like 9/11 woke me up, or Oklahoma City bombing woke me up, Sandy Hook woke me up, whatever. I've always been awake. I've always been paying attention to this kind of stuff. I've always known that they were not to be trusted. But it wasn't really till 9/11 that they like twisted it all around. That's when like they finally came out of the shadows, so to speak, and they were like, nope, New World Order time. And they've been moving in that trajectory faster and faster at an exponential rate ever since. And now is a perfect opportunity. Now would be the time. Right now, there's a lot of people finally. Like, too bad it wasn't 15 years ago when a lot of us were saying this shit, right? Saying that all of this was coming, all of it. There hasn't been a thing yet that has come out that wasn't obvious, right? Because we know that they have to do away with certain rights, and the only way that they can do that is by staging certain events. Problem, reaction, solution. And you know what those types of events would have been because they were talking about it. They were hinting at them. You can always gain this type of information from the media. That's why I constantly cover the propaganda networks. Because they're telling us. They're constantly telling us. But they do it in this way where if you're asleep, if you're still buying into it, you read it as what it is, right? You take in what they're giving you as what it is that they're wanting you to take. But when you wake up, you read it and it means something completely different. You can see what it is that they're trying to do. So I've been told. I'm going to get wrapping it up here in a minute, guys. Once you start seeing this, you know we're not far off. They have to do this first, right? It's funny because just like all these, it's always going to be like the last wave. Before anybody that I had even knew caught the flu or COVID, all these celebrities were catching it. They were all, oh no, this one's got COVID, that one's got COVID, this one's got COVID. But nobody yet. I mean, it wasn't even a thing. And then they wait till the flu season and people start getting sick. Not to say that COVID doesn't exist. I do believe that they created a virus that they're spreading around that is genetically engineering certain parts of the human genome to make the proteins to have the body produce the necessary proteins that would be needed in these technologies that they have spent millions, if not billions of dollars researching. Because our bodies don't naturally do it on a lot of these things. They need help. But that's not a problem because the animal kingdom gives that up freely if you know what you're looking for. If you can map the genomes and you know what the genes mean and you know what the proteins that they produce mean, all you gotta do is do like a CRISPR-Cas9 type of scenario using a vector virus, infect the person, and lo and behold, you got the protein that you need to create nanowires, to create nanotransistors, to create anything you want, and then some. I will, Jen. I think she just she was going through my comments like a typical wife, and she came across yours, and she was like, "Oh, you never told me this. That's so nice of her." And I think she wrote you back. I'm not sure. By the way, not to bring this out publicly, but there's been some issues I've been having with. Apparently, I didn't know this, but people are telling me that they've donated, and I'm not doubting them at all. I'm just wondering why it hasn't shown up on my end. So I sent you an email, or maybe it was a reply to a comment about that. Which for everybody that, I mean, God bless all of you guys, really. You take the time out of your day, you send me the links. You don't have to do that. I'm well aware that you don't have to do that. And that's why it's easier for me because I'm a slow typer, to be honest with you. Plus, I'm kind of OCD when it comes to things. Like, to me, things have to be worded in a certain fashion, in a certain way to convey the most information in the fewest words. Is weird. I understand it's weird. So I do this. I let you know that I do get them through this. So all of like Herbie, I hadn't heard from Herbie in a while. And I was like starting to get worried. And then literally I was talking to my wife. I was like, I hadn't heard anything from this person in quite some time. And then the next day, I got an email, and it was like, "Oh, I hadn't." No, Janet didn't. And what is it? A GoFundMe or PayPal? Because I don't have any. I could show you. I could show you my bank account too. Like, it's not my account's number's not on there. Like, I'm not grimy, obviously. I would hope. I mean, but and I know, obviously, I don't doubt that you did, because every time you've ever said that you did, you've done it. And I don't know which one. GoFundMe? Well, hold on. Let's take a look. Not, not. I mean, I just want to check. Is it maybe it's on there. I don't know. I don't want to do this publicly, because there's other people's information there that I hadn't asked them if it was okay if they see it. So that'd be kind of a dick move on my part, because some people literally like don't like me calling that out. Some people don't mind, but if it's not my place to do that right now, so I will check after this. I'll let you know. But regardless, I appreciate it. I'm sure it will be. It's, who knows what? Maybe it's. I don't know. Yeah, I figured. I mean, that's what you did last time, you said, and I appreciate it. And if not, then I'll definitely be getting a hold of them and figuring out what's going on, and then get you your money back. Because if it's not going to anybody, then it better be going back to you. That's for sure. Okay, and it wouldn't surprise me if they start cutting off stuff like that. That's all. Like, I kind of been waiting for that. I've seen that. Remember with the trucker rally, like weird shit was happening with stuff like that. And being the channel that this channel is, and the stuff that we talk about, to me, it's only a matter of time before that type of stuff starts happening. But I'll let you know. I'll send you a comment. I hadn't checked in a while, so maybe it takes time for it. Normally it doesn't, right? Normally it's pretty instant. So maybe that's why I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I'll get to the bottom of it for sure. Just wanted to let you know, just in case. If, like I said a minute ago, if there's no point, let's not make these scumbag corporations richer. If it's not going to me, it better be going back into your bank account. And thank you. I don't know what about Metallica. It's just the first of many we're gonna see caught COVID, right? Man, could they be a little less obvious with it though? It would be appreciated if they could just like use a little bit of creativity, a little imagination. And what's spreading? Pirola. So when it comes to the names and things like that, Wiktionary I always go to because they know their stuff, right? Wiktionary isn't a BS type of site. These are like literally like witches, like your. I can't say satanic because they're not all satanic, but they're not Christian by any means. But they have good information. And when you're talking about the people that are running the show, that they are these types of people. So what does it mean? Well, penis. Pirola means dick, cock. Or if that's not good enough, we could go to the S dictionary, pirola, the human urine and feces pot, which is a toilet. That's what a pirola is. So it's either or. I mean, they're laughing at us constantly. Galatian language, it means penis, cock, dick, virile member, or palilia. Unable to attend class. Yeah, and they did, right? The guy that did that, you guys see all the country leaders that died in Africa? It was the ones that were calling this stuff out. There's 4 African country leaders, presidents, that died of mysterious circumstances. Not all of them, most of them. I mean, to me, they're all mysterious circumstances. I know, well, not mysterious. I know what happened to them. They weren't playing ball, and they were calling these things out. That I believe what you're talking about, like the grapefruit and the oranges and stuff. Like that was the Tanzanian president. Is he still around? I doubt it. I hadn't checked that one. That's probably a fifth. Tanzania president. Anybody want to fact check me on that? He's probably dead because he was making a show of it. He was telling it like, look, this is ridiculous. These PCR tests are a joke. If you magnify anything 30, 40 fucking times, you're going to come up with something. That's not enough. And that's the very reason they killed the guy that created the PCR test right at the beginning of COVID, in my opinion, YouTube. Absolutely, Mitz. Good to see you, broster, sister. But that's what they keep doing to us. They're like laughing at us this whole time. They did that with like the Delta Quran and all this stuff, the names that they got. Like it's the joke's on us. And every year they said this trifecta, same trifecta, different flus, different viruses. Well, the COVID, the flu are the same, but now it's RSV. Don't worry though, they got an RSV vaccine this year, a new one. You'll be safe. It'll be effective. Enough's enough, man. I think we've all had it. The only problem is they're trying to get us to rise up angrily and violently. And I hope to God they don't succeed at that. I hope there's enough voices like mine and yours out there that can quell and understandably so, the amount of anger that people and the frustration people are feeling. But that if we act on that under those emotions, we're just falling perfectly into the trap that they've been setting. There are ways to do this, and we can do it, but we cannot just fly off the cuff. We got to be disciplined, reserved, and we got to do everything we can to spread the information because it is being suppressed at a rate that I've never seen in my life and wouldn't even have imagined that in 2023 it would be this severe, but it is. No, you can barely trust anybody. There's very few people I even trust getting my information from. And even then, I got to go through it with a fine-tooth comb a million different times. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get wrapping it up. I appreciate all the support I get. And thanks, Jen. I'll check again. I'll get back to you just to make sure. And my wife says thanks. I already told you anyway. She said hi and hello, thank you, and all that. So I hope you all have a great night. I appreciate it. Keep sending the information, guys, because it's very valuable to me. I don't have time to do all that research, and you guys are really good at sending me things that happen to be perfect for what it is that I'm looking at. So nothing but love for you. I hope you guys have a really great week. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend. I hope, I hope everything, I wish the best for all of you. I really do. And everybody, but people sow their own seeds. And unfortunately, they've been doing it for a long time. And I think, well, time to collect. You got to pay the piper sometimes, and those people that have been living like that are going to be in for a rude awakening. God bless, guys. Much love. Peace.